Like, okay, so you want women to be insecure. Like, that's what we want. We don't actually want women to be confident. We just want to tell them to be confident. We don't want them to actually love themselves and know their worth. Because, like, then you're a conceited, vain bitch or whatever. And that's why people get mad at her because she'll say in interviews, like, I think everybody should be cocky. Like, she's like, I think everybody should flaunt themselves and, like, think they're the shit. How is that a bad thing? I just do not think it's bad for women to think that they're beautiful and to flaunt that and be like, no, I am beautiful. Like, I think that's great. I want women to feel that way. Like, even if I don't personally feel that way, I don't want other people to be miserable like me. Like, what the fuck?
Hi, my name is Ophi YouTube Videos. I am a feminist and a lesbian. I make conversational commentary videos about both of those things, and I generally have too many things on my list to really do things by a per request basis. But somebody named, and I hope I'm getting this right, Anisi125 commented on my most recent video with a request that I thought was a really, really good one. They said that they would like to hear me talk about the Samyra situation, and I did not know that there was a Samyra situation currently, but as soon as I heard that there was one, I knew exactly who I wanted to speak to about it. My close personal friend, one of my favorite feminists and people on this platform, Allie from Little Shop of Allie. I think that we started sending each other Samira's content following the video from Mayowa's World,
Yeah.
which is, I believe, one of the only videos on this platform that is like kind to Samyra.
Yes.
A lot of people have spoken really negatively about Samyra.
Mhm.
I think you mentioned Megan Kelly.
Candace Owens. Samira did like a video where she dressed up like her. She looked better than her too. In the video, Candace was like, she has 2 million followers, so I guess that means that we're celebrating people for being fat or some shit like that. It's like, oh, are you mad, Candace, that this fat black woman didn't have to pander to white people to get a bunch of followers and is fat? Like, sounds like you're mad, you're hating on this black woman.
You know, I watched your whole 6 minute, 23-second violent discriminatory rampage toward me and other fat people. And all I have to say is, I feel sorry for you. But I mean, I feel sorry for anyone whose sense of self-worth is found in a relentless pursuit of proximity to whiteness.
It's just such a jealousy, and no one ever considers that. Anytime fat people criticize something, it's like, oh, y'all are just hating because y'all are fat. But no one ever thinks about like how much thin people envy fat people like Samira. Like they
Yes.
cannot stand the fact that she's so famous and like beautiful and is like getting the attention of also a lot of these brands that she calls out too.
Samyra has 2.3 million followers, and her videos have generated over 157.9 million likes. She graduated from Harvard College. She is a trained vocalist. She is stunning. Like, she's just gorgeous.
Beautiful
I
woman.
initially felt protective of her upon learning of her because I learned about her in Mayowa's video, and as we've discussed at length on this channel, knowing that somebody is being treated poorly on a broad scale endears them to me to begin with. But like from the moment that I started watching her content, I've just always thought that she is such a light. She's a joy. She's so
So
fun to watch.
you have to be an evil ass motherfucker to watch any of her videos and hate her. Like, she is so adorable and funny and cute. And, like, what is there to be mad about? Like, I don't understand. She's not doing anything wrong. She's just talking about plus size clothes and is just being funny and cute online. Like, leave her alone. It just feels like such middle school bullying to me.
The evil, deplorable, disgusting, violent videos y'all are making about me on this app are unacceptable. It's genuinely gross. And I don't know what makes y'all think it's okay to do that. I don't know what makes y'all think it's okay. Did your favorite rapper last year make you think it was okay? Because by the way, she was wrong. Fatphobia ain't funny. Fatphobia ain't a joke.
It's kind of hard for me to get my hands around where all of this is coming from because I do know a lot of the vitriol that she experiences comes from her engagements with Cardi B in the past. But obviously so much of it is from her being a beautiful black fat woman on the internet and her having a level of comfort in herself that I would say it's very obvious that these motherfuckers in her comment section do not have with themselves, or else
Yes.
they would not need to waste their time on that kind of thing.
Like that post I sent, someone was like, you sound so insecure. There was another post she made where someone was like, a big ass woman with a big ass ego for some reason. It's like, wow, y'all are just mad. Y'all can't stand that this fat black woman is like confident in herself and like knows she's beautiful. And we've talked about this in private many times with like we talk about pretty privilege and stuff, but there is like a hatred people have for women who like even if they're conventionally attractive, it's like they hate them because of that. And especially if they're like a fat person who is flaunting their body and isn't hiding their body, isn't ashamed of how they look. They hate that shit. We hate confident women, like in general, but especially like someone who isn't considered conventionally attractive, whatever, and is also like very obviously a beautiful person. It's the same thing with Tess Holiday to me. It's so obvious as like y'all are mad that this fat woman is pretty. Like y'all don't know what to do with that. Like they're mad, like, damn, she's actually pretty though. Because I remember seeing a clip of her at some kind of Gen Z conference thing where they were talking about plus size clothes. And someone in the comments was like, I don't know about this woman. I mean, she's talented, she's beautiful, but she's just always complaining about this and it's getting grating. And like, this is a you problem. And maybe you should just lose weight. Like, it was the most disgusting comment I ever saw. And it's like, yeah, it's like it's also that she's a woman too, and she's speaking her mind. Like we don't like women,
Right.
especially a black woman who seems
Yes.
angry. Like Lauren Hope Crass did like a little video defending her where she also said this.
If you don't know who Samyra is, you absolutely should. She's powerful, she's smart, she's funny, she's talented. She calls out diet culture and fat phobia using her voice as a content creator and a recording artist. Bebop, anybody? She's also a fat black woman who does get angry, and as she should. I've been a fan of her for a while now, and I have noticed in the comments that people do not give her as much grace as they give me. They say things like, girl, if you want to get things done, maybe don't do it like this. She has a voice. She's entitled to it. It's an important voice. And if you don't like it, you can just keep scrolling. This is nothing new. When people see an empowered, confident fat woman, and in this case, fat black woman, they get upset.
Like, yeah, like it's also just misogyny. Like, like this woman is speaking up and we're mad. Like, shut up, you
Yes.
fat bitch, is what people want to say, basically. Saw a comment where again she was talking about plus size clothes and someone was like, I don't know, I agree, but there's other issues in the world. And it, like people love to do that. Like, oh, well, there's other more serious things happening. And it's like, okay, so then why are you in our comments commenting then? Go the fuck away and go talk about those issues since there's more important issues to talk about. Are you talking about them? And it's like, okay, well, what are you doing about those issues then? Like, for one. And then two, it's like, shut the fuck up. She could talk about plus like what? That is a problem that everyone has. We all have to wear clothes. And that was the other thing too with the plus size clothes thing. I kept seeing comments from people being like, well, why don't you just start your own plus size company? Hello? Imagine saying that to any other marginalized community. That's not a response to oppression. Well, fat people should just go start their own business. Like, what the fuck? How is that? What kind of a response is that?
It feels to me, and this might be nothing, but this is just what pops into my head, right? Like, you know, whenever there's a movie or a TV show about a fat girl, and I feel like particularly this happens with characters who are black women as well. There's a fat character, and her whole thing is she's very into fashion because she has to sew her own clothes. Like, I can think of
Yes.
probably like 3 or 4 examples off of the top of my head where
Yes.
it's that exact plot line. So these people see this woman in the real world who has to exist as a fat black woman in the real world and who understands that there are so many other people who are experiencing the world the same way that she is. There are so many people who experience the world in the same ways that Samyra does. There are so many people who have to deal with this exact intersection of misogyny, of racism. Like, the experience that she has as a fat influencer is not the experience that a white fat influencer has, and the experience that a white fat influencer has also fucking sucks.
Hmm. Yes, that's the thing. That was what my Norbit video was all about, was just like people will talk about shallow how, for example, which like is egregious. But like
Mhm.
Norbit is way worse. And no
It's
one
so
and like
bad.
people do talk about it to be clear, but it just doesn't get brought up a lot when people talk about fat suit movies. They always talk about shallow how, and I'm like, that is actually kind of a walk in the park compared to the way fat black women are treated in movies because it's just like way more mean. Like there was way more. I mean, it was fake bullshit sympathy in Shallow Hal, to be clear, but there was at least some kind of sympathy. At least like she at least got the guy at the end, I guess. Like in Norbit, it was like, no, we're gonna demonize this fat black woman, and she's also we're gonna end it with her like getting chased off or whatever. Like it's just there's just a specific experience that fat black women have, or like I feel like fat white women in media, like they do have more opportunity to be like sexualized and like get
Hmm.
to be the lead and get a guy and stuff. Like you don't really see that with fat black women and stuff. And it's frustrating, like as a black woman who was like bigger and also grew up around a lot of fat black women, it's like the way that they're just mocked and caricatured just throughout history in the media, on social media. It's just really disheartening and it's irritating because I'll even see other black people talking about this and they'll just, if it's a fat woman, it's like, well, fat phobia is not the same thing as racism or whatever. They'll try to dismiss it. And it's not just black people who say that, to be clear, but it's like, no, it is actually just as important because all of those things are fueling the hatred towards her. It's not just that she's black, it's not just that she's a woman, it's also that she's fat. Like all of those things matter. We can't just ignore that, you know, and we can't ignore the intersection between race, fat phobia, and gender. Like all of those things.
The thing is, too, is that Samyra is educated and well read enough to understand all of those intersections and how they impact her. And the people who are saying, like, oh, isn't this one thing that she's doing getting a little bit old? Like, they're not listening to the deeper amount of education that I feel like she is trying to provide to her audience.
Hmm.
I think the really important thing that she is doing with her platform is she is educating people on the anti-black roots of fat phobia. And
Hmm.
people are mocking her for it. And they're like, how? Like, I saw one and I sent it to you because I was like, oh, she's so close to getting it. Because they were like, why is everything suddenly rooted in anti-blackness? And it was like, you're so close.
That's
You
the
almost
thing.
understood it.
That's the thing that I was thinking about earlier, or the thing I've been thinking about since I started researching her is just like the comments that she gets are just like, you just don't know shit. You don't know what you're talking about. Because like I've gotten that. Like I think it was a video I did after my Norbit one. I think I brought up healthism or something, and somebody was like, "That's not a real thing." And it was it's not real. Did you even Google it? Like you didn't even Google that to fact check it. You're just like, nope, that's not real. Like, okay, like, did you even fact check that first before you said that? You're just confidently saying that this isn't real. Like, what the fuck? But you think you know more than this woman who went to Harvard? Imagine thinking you know more than a bitch who went to Harvard. Like, who the
Really work not to put too much like status on education, but like it being
right?
Harvard of all schools is so fucking funny. Like she's literally Elwood.
And that's
Like
exactly. And think about like we were talking about. There was a post she made about how she got into Harvard, and someone was in the comments like affirmative action at its finest. Like they just cannot wait to take anything away from her. It's like they're so mad. They're just so baffled. Like, how did this fat black woman get into Harvard and get all these things? It's like they can't even celebrate her for that. Like, and again, if she was a thin person, they would not have a hard time believing that.
I think in this most recent controversy, which we'll get to, I thought it was like just such a class move that one of her responses was to do a photo shoot where she was like highlighting and suggesting recommended reading, such as like Fearing the Black Body and What We Don't Talk About When We Talk About Fat,
Mhm.
and like trying to guide her audience towards resources.
Yes.
Though I'm sure the majority of the people showing their ass in their comments will never find their way there, but like that is such a service, I feel like, to be an educator that way of the people who are stumbling across your content.
She's
Like
telling
again,
y'all to
just
read books.
I've spent a lot of this last week trying to figure out how to make this video in a way that addresses Samyra's mistreatment but doesn't just replicate what I mean to address. I'm going to be pulling from a TikTok video that Roxanne Gay made about Samyra, and I'm going to use that to give you an overview both of the work that Samyra does and how that work is responded to on the internet.
I've been thinking a lot about Samyra because I find her to be fascinating. For one, she's gorgeous. That is a face card that will never be denied. But she's smart, charismatic, charming, and really makes lovely content, interesting content about fat phobia and the ways that it shows up in the world.
If the clothing marketing phrases tame your tummy, tummy control, thigh slimmer excite you, you probably have some internalized and externalized fat phobia to work through. And before y'all say it, yes, it is that deep.
I feel so bad for Samira because she just seems like such a sweet person. And I think what also makes me mad about these conversations, especially when weight loss comes up, is like people get so mad if you say anything about weight loss culture being fat phobic. But we never want to talk about like this is how fat people get pressured into losing weight. That's what people I think want too, is like, well, maybe if we just bully her enough, she'll just go get on Ozempic or something. And I think that's what makes me not that like I don't like she can do whatever she wants to do with her body. I don't care. But I think that's why so many fat people get upset when a person does lose weight. It's like, oh, well, here we go. Because now it's like there's going to be a wave of, oh, they look so much better now. And oh, they're just trying to be healthy. Using that as confirmation as like, well, this is why being fat is bad. See, she knew and she lost weight. And it just, people know that it's just going to be, okay, another round of fat phobia. And that's like why people get so frustrated with these conversations was like, we don't ever want to acknowledge how fat people are coerced into losing weight by this kind of thing, by being publicly fat shamed and told that, well, you should just lose weight if you want clothes, if you want to shop in the store. And it's shitty. And like, it makes me sad because it's like, it's just so mean. Like, I don't even know what else to say. It's just so blatantly mean. And I don't think anyone should, even if you want to lose weight, regardless, like you should still be able to shop in the store. You should still be treated like a human being. I don't care about how you feel about your body. Like I say this all the time in my videos, like I don't care about how you feel about your body. I'm not here to tell you to love your fat body. I don't care if you want to lose weight. You should still be able to have clothes. I think that's also something that, like, yeah, if we want to talk about the body positivity movement and like, yeah, maybe the way it was sort of, obsessed with, oh, everyone needs to love their body. It's like, well, I really don't care about that. I want people to be treated with dignity and respect so that people can love their bodies. And this is something that, again, to bring it back to Aubrey Gordon, she talks about all the time. Like, I don't care about how you feel about your body. Like, we need to dismantle anti-fat bias. If we want fat people to love their body, you have to make a world where they can love their bodies. So I'm stealing that from her. But yeah, and everyone to love their bodies, not just fat people. Like,
I think it's too, there's really this idea of like that the end goal of body positivity should have been like everyone is sexy, everyone is beautiful, everybody can love their body and sexualize themselves. But I do think that the much healthier and also like more, it feels a lot more easily achievable version of this would be like, you don't have to hate your body, and also it is certainly not anybody else's place to hate it for you. Like,
yes.
And it's okay to not want to be treated poorly on the basis of your body. Like, that is literally normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is normal to look at this kind of discourse happening and feel like there are some walls closing in around you. Like, it is normal to be a little bit, I think especially, I wanted to bring up earlier when you were talking about people being a little bit disappointed when fat celebrities lose weight. Part of this too is so many times when they do this, they do so in partnership with something that they are selling to their audience.
Yes.
It's not just a matter of like, I don't like that this woman looks different now, which I think a lot of the people who want to act like the fat people in their audience are like just being hysterical, pretend like, but it is more of like, I kind of thought we were in this thing together, and now not only have you not held the line, but you are turning around and you are trying to sell me some kind of weight loss scheme. And that's weird, and that's fucked up, and that's like, it's a betrayal. Like, it sucks.
She does important work. She also does thankless work, because daring to be fat, to be Black, to be a woman in public, daring to be unapologetic about it, and daring to not center weight loss around your existence, or centering your existence around weight loss, rather, it takes a lot of courage. So last week, she made some comments about how the Skinnylicious menu at Cheesecake Factory is fatphobic, which, we all have our perspectives, and there's nothing wrong with it because she has a core argument there.
Cheesecake Factory's Skinnylicious menu is fatphobic. The fact that it is named Skinnylicious because it has fewer calories and quote unquote healthier options, it is fatphobic. That is not that is not an opinion. That is a fact. And I would say argue with your mama, but she probably fatphobic too.
Oftentimes, fat people are complaining about when it comes to weight loss culture and diet culture is the language. That's what Samyra was talking about when she was calling out the skinny girl brand and stuff. It's like, why are you labeling this as Skinnylicious and skinny girl? Like, that's, again, the people complaining about Ariana Grande should also be mad about skinny girl and Skinnylicious. Like, that's what she was like complaining about. It wasn't just, oh, I'm mad this person lost weight. Like, it's not ever that black and white.
Not that that Skinnylicious menu exists. It's the branding of that menu. It is the industry-wide branding of things called like skinny things, because skinniness is valorized. It is framed as the goal, as the thing that we should be striving for, as the altar at which we should be worshiping. And it really suggests that if that's Skinnylicious, what is the rest of the menu? If you are virtuous and choosing to eat off that Skinnylicious menu, what does it say about everyone else who's eating off of the rest of the menu?
Look at Skinnylicious through a different lens. So let's say you want to get your hair done. You decide you're going to book an appointment at Ulta. And as you're scrolling through their services, you come across a section that says good hair. And all of the options in that section are to straighten your hair. And while they do offer natural hair services, they are not listed in the good hair category. Now, of course, many of you would take issue with this, not because they are offering the option to straighten your hair, but rather the assertion that only straight hair is good hair. And y'all would literally be up in arms if Ulta did something like that. We understand that hair discrimination is a very real thing rooted in very real racism. And yet for some reason, a lot of y'all still seem to struggle to understand Cheesecake Factory and their fatphobia.
So there's a point there, but unfortunately the internet is incapable of nuance. And certainly this is low-hanging fruit for people who were already poised to be fatphobic and to make various arguments against the kinds of work that Samyra was doing.
During New Year's of 2012, to promote their brand new Skinnylicious menu, Cheesecake Factory took to Twitter to host a competition where people could win prizes for sharing their Skinnylicious resolutions. They wanted people to share their ultimate dream for getting fit. They gifted this person a swimsuit for when she's swimsuit ready. At the end of January 2012, they ran out of prizes and wished everyone a happy, healthy, eat better, live better New Year.
Very few people bother to engage with any of her ideas, let alone this one. I would not use the Skinnylicious menu to make that point that she's trying to make, but that's because I'm not her.
That was another thing I saw in her comments is people, because like they love just being like, oh, you're always calling everything fatphobic. And there were their comments being like, well, is diet soda fatphobic? Is skinny pop fatphobic? And it's like, maybe? Did you ever consider that? Like, yeah, maybe it is though. And like no one ever thinks about like, yeah, a lot of stuff around weight loss culture and like healthy food is fat phobic. We should be criticizing that because y'all keep saying it's all about health and it's not about thinness. But then you have these brands who are like skinny pop, guilt free, and skinny girl. Like, it's like, do y'all actually care about these issues? People get mad at her for calling everything like fat phobic, but it's like we know that so much of what sells weight loss and diet culture is fat phobia and ableism. But for some reason we can't say that because that's gonna hurt people's feelings. And it's just it's annoying. It's very annoying to me.
And she has done so much in terms of talking about airplanes and airline travel, talking about clothing brands and the inconsistencies in extended sizes, the way that lots and lots of spaces where people are supposedly encouraged to gather and to engage with culture are inhospitable to fat bodies. And these conversations need to be had. They're difficult, but they are important because you're never going to change the status quo if you don't call it out. So anyway, shout out to Samyra, who I think does amazing work. And I wish that more people would maybe engage with her actual ideas instead of using her as an avatar for your disgust for fat people. Like, deal with that with your fucking therapist.
The thing is, too, that's frustrating is I feel like she is, and of course this is just the way that misogynoir functions in general, but she's being typecast as, like, so much angrier than I feel she comes across in her videos. Like, she is funny and she's bombastic and she's like animated, but she is very, very nice to the workers that she comes in contact with because she understands that it's not their fault that they don't have her sizes.
She is so polite.
She's just funny. Like, but I think that people they watch it and they see her express being unhappy with something that she has every right to be unhappy by because it is like evidence of her exclusion and marginalization by society, and they're like, she's angry and we don't like angry. And it's like, she could be so much fucking angrier and she would have every goddamn right.
As a wise woman once said, women should be angrier. She actually should be mad and pissed off. Like, there was a clip she showed where she was at Southwest Airlines and like Oh, they were like telling she needed to buy 2 seats or something like that. Oh, and the lady was like, "Oh, we can't oversell the flight to accommodate you," which is fucking rude. And I'm like, she still was calm and polite towards her. She had every right to be mad, in my opinion. Like, to me, if she
Yeah.
did get mad, I'd be like, yeah, that seems justified. She's experiencing discrimination. She should be mad about that. And you should also be mad about that when you're seeing her talk about it. Like, it's weird. You're the weird one for not being mad, actually. So I just
Yes.
hate the angry black woman thing because I'm like, black women should be angry all the time, actually. We have a right to be angry. And like as a black
Yes.
woman, like it is frustrating. Like I feel like, yeah, whenever I complain about stuff, I have to be like, let me lower my voice, let me talk really soft so people don't think that I'm being a mean black bitch or whatever. Like it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Like anything you say is gonna be seen as you're just being angry as if that's like not a valid feeling.
Yeah.
It's not valid if you're a black woman or if you're a woman.
I think one of the ways that a lot of people first heard about her was when she did try to use that platform to educate people about Cardi B's fatphobic remarks, when I believe that the story is that Cardi B like quickly ran out of extra large and 2XL sizes when she was selling some merch.
So Cardi B went on live recently and talked about how her supporters bought out all of her 3XL outfits.
So the box sets are completely sold out, especially because you fat fucks, clearly you guys are fat as fuck. No Chick-fil-A for y'all. All the 3X sold out. Y'all, the 3X sold out like in 20 minutes. Now, knowing that my fans is fat, I can't even make fun of fat people no more.
I think what annoyed me about that was like, once again, people were just immediately like, oh, it's just a joke and all this stuff. And I was just thinking, like, okay, what if I was on a live stream? It was like, you skinny bitches bought up all my extra smalls and small and mediums. Would they be okay with that? Okay, I don't know if you remember this, but when Lizzo had her song Tempo, you know the lyric where she's like, "Oh, slow songs, they for skinny hoes." You know how many skinny people got mad about that lyric? So mad about that, and they got mad at
They were
Meghan
mad about
Trainor.
Meghan Trainor.
Yes, saying skinny bitches. Like y'all get mad at that, but when a fat person is like, yeah, maybe don't insult your fans who just bought your fucking merch and put money into your pocket. It's oh shut up. Oh my God. It was just a joke. Like it's not that deep. Like, okay, sure. Sure. It would be deep if it was any other fucking person. And she said that. Like it said like just like something mean about a group of people who bought her stuff. Like why should they be okay with being called a fat fuck for putting money in her pocket? Like that's just even if you hate fat people, you should know. Like I'm not gonna say that on a live stream. Like
Right.
that's just common sense.
What's really interesting to me too about this is this insistence that like whatever Cardi does, even in her like well documented, and I think I can link to multiple videos by multiple black women on YouTube who have talked about this, Cardi B's like well documented history of misogynoir.
Yes.
Her beefs with women who are darker than her,
Mhm.
all of her like internalized stuff where like it's not really my place to comment on it, but I can say I see it, I've heard about it when I've been told about it.
I've been hearing about it for years. Like not new.
Maya really took this discussion and articulated it in a very powerful way to say, essentially, why are you making fun of your fat supporters? And essentially just saying that she does not find Cardi B's joke funny.
Cardi B, I'm very surprised that I have to remind you of this, but just because someone else makes a joke doesn't mean you have to make it too. You know that, right? Maybe if you stop using fat people at the expense of jokes, then people wouldn't do the same for your BBL.
Samyra then went on to do a detailed video advising Cardi B to read certain books that could educate Cardi B on anti-fatness, one of them including Fearing the Black Body. Cardi B then proceeds to tell Samyra to shut the f*** up and that she just needs to get over it. She used the language get over it multiple times.
And it feels like people say that anytime that Cardi tells on herself about that, that's no big deal, but also that it's somehow justified for Cardi to turn around and be so thin-skinned.
Yes.
Like, the fact that it even registered to her that Samyra had an issue with what she said on her live stream is embarrassing.
If she's not even saying anything that bad, like I came across her post that she made back when it was happening, when she was like, okay, I'm gonna step back. and she was like, I was very like kind to her, and she just
Yeah.
reacted insanely. And like even with this recent one, it's like all she said was, "Oh, I know that ain't who I think it is."
Old Navy. That better not be who I think it is. That better not be who I think it is. That y'all just posted on y'all account talking about something you about to drop something with them. That better not be who I think it is.
Wow, what? What is the problem here? She can't say shit about her. She just can't say anything about how, yeah, it is kind of interesting that Old Navy would do that. Like,
Right.
and it was a 20-second video. It wasn't like it was a 50-minute video essay, like, fuck Cardi B. Like, it's just the disproportionate response. It's like, and that, I feel like this is also something that irritates me because, like, marginalized people in general really do experience the same bullshit where it's like we'll say something and it'll just get blown out of proportion and then we're seen as the sensitive ones or whatever. It's so frustrating how often I see that.
Yeah, I think it's such a good point how benign the I know that better not be who I think it is video was. Because Samira's initial response to seeing a few years later after her first back and forth with Cardi B that Cardi B was partnered with Old Navy, a brand who Samira has criticized in the past but also had like a friendly relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
She posted that on her TikTok and not on her Instagram. And now people on her Instagram in future installments of the story are commenting as though there's some smoking gun that the Instagram only audience is missing. And they're like, you're missing the part where she fired the first shot. She's throwing stones and then hiding her hands behind her back.
And I also saw somebody being like, Old Navy should sue her. It is
For criticizing her. Like, why would, people agree to the most insane fucking things when they can do it against a woman. Like, you do not actually believe that a brand should be able to criticize you if you say something about who they partner with, or else you can't say shit the next time Sydney Sweeney partners with anybody. And I want you to be able to say shit next time Sydney Sweeney is in an ad. I don't care. But if you're saying this, like, that's what we're going for.
They're a rich ass corporation. Like, why are we suddenly arguing and being angered on behalf of a fucking Old Navy? What are we doing? That's so embarrassing to me. Like, you hate fat people that much that you're like, man, Old Navy should sue her. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you care about Old Navy?
Listen, I've been critical of Old Navy for years, and they know that. And they knew that when they was hyping me up in my comment sections all last month, just to now turn around and this month engage in the mocking of me in their very own comment section after making somebody who was openly fatphobic the face of their new campaign. And I just think that's very weird, to say the least.
I just don't understand. And then also, I said this on Blue Sky, but it's like, no, she didn't start it. What started it was Fatphobia. That's what started it. That's why she's complaining. Like, fuck you. Like, hello? Like, imagine if we said that to Black people who were boycotting Target. If Target started like liking racist comments or something, like, would y'all be like, oh, well, they started it though. So people can just be racist, I guess.
If she has not influenced her entire audience not to shop at Old Navy by, like, pointing out that they do not have size inclusion in their stores, like, I highly doubt that her 7 seconds, like, oh, and now they're partnering with Cardi B, who is notably fatphobic, made any fucking difference. And then people are like, oh, Cardi B has to stand up for herself. I saw people saying, like, oh, you didn't think Old Navy was going to stand up for itself? Yes, I did not think that a corporation was going to stand up for itself against an individual woman. I didn't think that. I got to admit, I never thought that.
No, I didn't. What the fuck? It's so, oh my God. It makes me so mad.
Old Navy, you over there trying to be funny? You over there trying to be funny? Bet.
And of so many stupid ways that people have tried to justify Old Navy's, like, official branded account responding to people who are, like, bringing images of Samyra to their comment section specifically to mock her.
Using photos of me from when I was like 14 to 15 years old to be fatphobic also proves my point. And it's very weird and gross. So let's relax. Okay.
they're saying like, oh, they're going to stand up for themselves. They're saying like, oh, maybe they don't understand the context. And it's like, you should think in your brain for a little second if somebody's using an image of, in what context
Of a
might
black
this image
woman.
be
Like, I'm
used?
sorry, but this is like
Right.
what we talk about. And like people on the left now are just annoyed anytime people bring up identity. But it's like, that's a very odd look. Sorry,
Yes.
you're a
It's
company
like,
just just endorsing the mockery of a fat black. Like, hello? And again, if this was not a fat person, even if she was black, I feel like black people would be mad if she wasn't fat. It's like the fact that she's fat that everyone is just like, well, she started it. Like, okay, we're in middle school again, I guess.
she, like, as far as I'm concerned, and I mean, I guess everybody else is just much more pro-capitalism than me, but like, her entire platform could be like, fuck Old Navy, I hate Old Navy. My thought would be, if Old Navy has an issue with that, they need to go through like defamation shit through the court, which I would hate them for.
God.
Not that they get to engage in mudslinging on social media.
Right.
Like, that is like, that is not the avenue through which that kind of thing should be addressed at all.
Right.
But yeah, like, there's the lack of literacy of people in the comments to say that they don't have to think about what might the message be of this picture that somebody is sending of a fat black woman, because they're like, the comments weren't even mad, but it's like the comments were an image of Samyra dancing, which, as with many of these photos that get circulated of women where I'm like, I know that I'm supposed to think that they're unflattering, like, it's just a picture of a human person like moving.
But like,
I understand looking at it, that the idea is supposed to be like, oh, look, she's fat, that's funny, and they're going like, oh, I can't wait to buy my jeans, I love Old Navy denim.
yes.
And then Old Navy is like, yeah, we're so happy you're gonna buy from us. And it's like,
What fuck?
the fact that they like, that is so fucking negligent to not, like, just ignore those comments, just don't respond to them. It is
You
so
could have just
easy.
ignored
so
her and
simple.
everything, and like honestly, I would have been less mad. Like the fact that you did that, it's like, oh, then fuck y'all.
Yep. I was like, well, you know what? I think she has a point about their sizing, but also, maybe they didn't know about Cardi B being fatphobic, and I don't know, like, whatever. But like, once I got to that, and the fact that like her video now at this point has been up for a day, I've been checking Old Navy's Instagram. I have not seen them apologize. I have seen,
and no one's gonna call for them to do it.
Nope. And I really do believe, I think you're right. I think that if this were a thin person, I would like to hope that we would show up for a black woman if she, like, at all, in general, in any circumstance. I think if we would, it would probably be a thin black woman. But especially if this were a white woman, if this were a thin white woman that Old Navy was participating in the mockery of, and it was like an influencer, I really do think that I would have seen a big rallying cry of like boycotting and calling for an apology.
Yes.
And that's, like, not only have I not seen that start to happen, but I will be genuinely surprised if there's like any real groundswell about this. And that is fucked up.
It's disheartening. Like, it makes me sad. I've just been so extra sensitive about this. I'm like, this is just so obviously mean. I don't understand how anyone is justifying this. This doesn't make, like, I know why, but it's also just like, damn, like, y'all hate fat people this much? Like, Jesus.
And we've talked about this kind of behind the scenes, and I think that it is, like, it's why it was really, really, like, brilliant of the commenter who requested that we talk about this, to even, like, think about this in connection with the Ariana Grande video that I posted last week, of, like, there are so many people who are claiming that because what they're doing with their platform, which in many ways is the same thing, right? It's these specifically chosen so-called unflattering photos of a woman that they think proves various things that they would like to prove about her.
Mhm.
Like, all of these people who have been doing that same thing, and they have been packaging it for their audience and themselves, and they have been saying, this is just because I hate it that little girls grow up in a world where they're told that they need to be thin. If you motherfuckers believed that, you would care about stuff like this. And you don't.
You never
You talk
care.
about this kind of thing when you can turn your audience further against a woman that they're already turned against. You
Yes.
talk about this kind of thing and you say, Samyra should have just stayed out of it. She should know what Cardi's like. No, fuck that.
Right.
Fuck that. If you care about little girls growing up in a world where there are things that they can be besides tiny and skinny, I want you to care about this kind of thing more than you care about a pop star's body not looking the way you want it to.
And that's the other thing is like, again, like you would have to see fat people as people to think about like How do you think fat kids are feeling right now? Like seeing what's happening with Samyra. It's interesting
Right.
because she made a video where she was talking about this. Like, would you be okay with this if a little girl came to you and told you that people were saying like the stuff that y'all say to me to her? Would y'all be okay with that?
And let me ask you something. If it was your daughter or your sister, for example, that came home and told you that somebody at school told her the things that some of y'all are saying to me, what would you tell her? You gonna tell her that she deserves to be spoken to like that? You gonna tell her that her body deserves to be spoken about like that? I would hope not. But the way a lot of y'all are acting, I think you just might. And y'all are disgusting. Fatphobia is disgusting. And I hope one day y'all actually understand that.
Like, y'all don't care about fat children. It's like y'all only want to care about body image issues when it comes to policing, like another woman's, like a thin woman's body. But y'all don't give a shit about this fat black woman just being openly mocked by a corporation and this rapper. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just weird to me. And I talked about this in my Ariana Grande video where I'm like, do y'all actually care about this issue? Like, do y'all actually care about this? Because it's like y'all don't actually care about fat phobia. And I think that's the problem. Is like, I just can't engage in these conversations with people who don't put like dismantling anti-fat bias at the forefront, because it's like, what do you want to happen here? Like, we're just complaining about a person being super skinny. It's like, well, don't you think that shouldn't you be on the side of dismantling anti-fat bias then? It's just like, I don't know what people want. I don't know. It's like we go back and forth between like, we can't have these super skinny women out here doing this, but then anytime we get a fat black woman who gets famous, who could be like an actual good role model, we shit on her and we just dehumanize her, and like we're just so fucking mean to them. But then again, Ariana Grande, it's like, oh no, it's bad for kids to see this, and it's like, well, you should be uplifting Samira then. I don't know. Like, maybe you should spend more time doing that than getting mad at Ariana Grande.
Yeah,
Just a
I
thought.
completely agree. You can find something like a whole extra hour of this conversation with Allie, along with many more of the conversations I have gotten to have here in the Nuance Corner, over on my Patreon. I wanted to make a video about Samyra that focuses more on defending and uplifting her than it does on going beat for beat about the cruelty she experiences, but she experiences a lot of cruelty. And my lack of specifics in this video is not for lack of examples, but for a lack of willingness to reperpetuate that onto my own audience, even in her defense. Samyra, like many fat activists, advocates for a world that is better for all of us. She should be uplifted and protected, and it should give you pause to see her painted over and over again in the racist and misogynistic ways that black women, and especially fat black women, have always been painted. She deserves better, and it is because she knows that she deserves better that she is treated this way, which makes it really hard to watch happen. But in conclusion, fuck Old Navy, fuck Fatphobia, and thank you so very much to Allie for helping me with this video. Make sure you go subscribe to Allie if you enjoyed this conversation, if you don't want to miss her upcoming video about Samyra, and honestly, if you are into anything I'm doing over here on my channel. I always say this, but Allie is doing amazing work, and you should be following her if you are not already. Thank you also to my Patreon supporters, a few of whose names you can see on the screen right now. Patreon got this interview early and very tangibly helps me to keep my bills paid and my cat fed. Thank you for being here. I will be back soon. I just wanted to make sure I finished this relatively quickly because I think Samyra deserves a level of outrage on her behalf that I'm not seeing. Okay, bye. Thank you.